I'm Dan, this is Dip Monkey, and this is to tell you a little bit more about what we do. So currently we have got our 1965 Fiat 500, which is a SEMA build, which we are alongside Petrolheadonism for. And then what we've decided to do is we've took this old 1965 car and we've put a Ducati 996 engine in the back, which has never been done before. This car has got bespoke roll cage, we've got custom made wheels, one-off body kits. We even had to drive to Germany just to pick these parts up for this car. Everything on this build is bespoke. I mean, so far I think we're talking the roof and the doors are original. Everything else we have modified and made it the Dip Monkey way.
So back at Dip Monkey, the place we never leave. We're here day in, day out, but more importantly at the minute it's because of this, Project Bruno. Fiat 500 build, Ducati 996 engine, all going together with a roll cage, bucket seats, crazy fuel tank in the front, running to the back to the engine. It's crazy at the minute with this SEMA build that we've got going on, but we've got a short time frame, short deadline, but I think we're going to hit it.
Hey, I'm Ciro Ciampi of Petrolheadonism, and we started off as a car club and now we've evolved into an event company, PR, promotion, media, and pretty much full-time petrolheads, and anybody that's linked with us are with us because of our passion for cars and everything automotive. It's been tough for the monkeys. I know we coined the phrase blood, sweat and Tetley because Claire drinks a lot of tea when she's working and gets millions of views on her Instagram when she's working and sanding and drinking tea. But it is honestly this place, this humble little garage, this is my dream garage. Like coming here, I feel at home. It feels so amazingly lovely and warm. I love the north of England. Southport is beautiful. It's that old worldy English seasidey place of bygone era, and come into this little garage and it's just got some of their memorabilia, it's got moments of Petrolheadonism, of events that they've been to with us, it's got memories around it, and it's just the two of them with their friends that run this.
So when we had to go to Germany to pick the parts up for this, friends of ours at Auto Finesse, they had a distribution hub and we managed to get the parts in for us. So we travelled out to Germany, and that distribution hub ended up being a couple of kilometres outside of the Nürburgring. So while we were there, we thought it'd be rude not to. Me, Ciro, Scoop, we had the Motion R transit van and we did a hot lap of the Nürburgring and then picked our parts up and then drove home. So
one of the major things that's gone on with this build at the minute is everybody's skill set shining through massively. I mean, we've got Dave, Uncle Dave, doing all the welding and the fabricating work. I mean, he has not stopped every day, even if it's just down to when he first put in the bespoke roll cage that was done by SW Motorsports. It was Dave's skill and ability putting this in, cutting it down, getting everything in, doing extra things like the exhaust system and stuff like that, and just his absolute skill set just shining through. You've got Andy, who's jumped on board with us from one extreme from the beginning is sourcing and ordering parts, to right through to doing wiring and lighting, and even down to little details like the Fiat 500 original badge that he's retrofitted with having the LED lighting on the inside and everything. Andy's ability to do that, where he's made things with the 3D printer, it's just absolutely incredible. We've got Dan, he's doing amazing work. He's jumped on board with me with obviously doing the custom paint side of things, which I'll show you a bit of as well. But Dan's shining as well with his motorsport knowledge and his mechanic skill set that he has, other than just doing the custom paint side that you're all used to seeing him do. Dan's doing fabricating work as well, making brackets. He's never stopped using that cutting disc and grinder as well. It's just seeing all of those elements that everyone's put in. And whilst all that craziness is happening, I'm over in my corner at my paint station and I'm trying to custom paint and airbrush and stencil things like the airlift tank and the clock surrounds and the seats and the PIA covers for the lights on the front of Bruno. So you've got all this hub of activity going on, with every element of it being everybody's skill set just coming together and just working beautifully. And we are working in, you've got to remember that the Dip Monkey Garage is such a small space, but there's so much happening and every corner of this unit is being utilised to create such amazing things. And at the end of the day, it's all coming together and it keeps going in this car and it's building and building and building. And it's just surprising that no one's killed each other yet, especially me and Dan, but everyone's getting on beautifully. And even though it is really stressful and it's been hard in a lot of ways, we are having such a laugh at the same time. Honestly, the giggles that we've had over things and stuff really that I suppose maybe other companies would have sat down and gone, can't go any further, because the problem solving is so vast. But between us, we work so well together that we're just laughing along the way as well, which I think is really bad and it's quite unprofessional, but I think you have to do that, otherwise you'd go crazy on this level of build.
It's great to be here in the seat talking about Dan and Claire and Dip Monkey Garage. Met these guys at Max Power event that I hosted in 2021, and during that event I saw them from distance, saw the car, and I knew the car, the flames, Mustang Sally, and I was then in a meeting planning a display at the British Motor Show, August 2022, and I said to Mark, my partner on the Max Power events, who are those guys? Is it Brookers or something? Dan? He's like, oh yeah, Brookers, and for some reason I've got his number saved in my phone as Brookers UK Hot Car. And then when I met them, I kind of didn't make sense because it's Dan, well, whatever, it's cool. And gave him a call, literally there and then. That's my thing. I just give him a call, just have a chat on the phone. Very easy going and open, and ultimately we're all fueled by the same passion. And had a really good chat with Dan and got Dan and Claire down for the British Motor Show 2022. And they were there as part of my live display, Flames Thunder and Burning Rubber. And when you spend 4 or 5 days with people, like-minded people, you see them gel within your wider network. Sam Hard, Adam C, and the others that were there with us. We're performing together with the cars, and you can see the soul of someone, and you can see that you are all working to the same hymn book. You're on the same page, and you'll keep saying it, fueled by the same passion. And literally, it's grown as a friendship from there. They come as a pair. I don't think they're ever apart from the time I took Dan to Nürburgring, but that's another story. Don't talk about Nürburgring. And we just did events together, because with my events that I host and with other projects and things like that, I will just pick up the phone. If something I think will work for somebody else and I can bring somebody else into it and they'll benefit from it, predominantly like shows and being on the stage at Knebworth. I'm going to take it back a little bit further though, because September 2021, I remember these two queuing up to meet Richard Rawlins, and it stood out for me not because of Dan's fantastic beard, but because Claire asked for her chest to be signed by Richard Rawlins, and Richard was very happy to do that. But I remember him from that as well. So I've got these little glimpses of memories of Dan and Claire before I made that phone call, and then they got involved with us at the British Motor Show. The Flames Thunder and Burning Rubber kind of mini show that we take on the road is effectively based around them because of the 10-foot flames on the back of the Mustang. So we've evolved as friends and getting across to events and things together. And my Petrolheadonism has grown substantially. Like, it's overwhelming how much we are endeared within the community, and the lengths and breadths of the community. The automotive space is vast, and it's such an amazing positive space to be within. We're now working with so many household brands and names, especially within the automotive space, but also with YouTubers, creators and celebrities like Mike Brewer and Chip Foose and Richard Rawlins. For me, going out to SEMA was a dream, and in 2018 I made that dream come true. And then foregoing the COVID closure years, I've been to every single one as if it's like a mecca. I have to go there every year. And I never dreamt of being able to build a car and take it to SEMA, but that dream came true in 2023 when EBC gave me the opportunity to put a car on display on their booth, and they have a fantastic booth in Central Hall. It's their 40th anniversary, and I've made a commitment to my friend James, the CEO of EBC, and said we will build something that will be a showstopper. And with a load of UK build partners that got involved, we put together a 1973 Toyota Corolla KE25, which was outstanding. It was outstanding. But even while it was on the boat traveling to America, and we have to have our cars finished in the UK by the beginning of September so it can ship, go through customs, be there on display ready way before the Americans. They've got another 2 months on us to get their projects finished. We had to be there and done. And so while it's out at sea, you're totally anxious that will it meet the grade? Will it be a letdown? Will I make EBC Brakes proud? Will I make all the other build partners proud? And even like with the build partners being involved, that's another angle and facet of Petrolheadonism that I've developed, because it's working with UK businesses. Some are small businesses with 3 people, some are massive conglomerates like EBC Brakes, and being able to interface as me personally with these different companies is what I absolutely love. Taking that car to SEMA, and I remember organising a tourist group, and within that tourist group, Dan and Claire were like, we'd love to come to SEMA. I was like, you guys need to come to SEMA. Once they'd booked to come to SEMA, I knew they'd have an awesome time, and there was kind of tears to the group because there was a tourist group and there were obviously the influencers, the creators, and because we'd talked about little Bruno here, my 1965 Fiat 500 being built for SEMA, I said you guys should come out and come out with us while you're there with us, as in meet the stars, come to the Sosa Metalworks party, come to the different parties that we're invited to. And there's limited invitations out there because there's so many people that are there. Everybody who's anybody from the automotive world all over the world is at SEMA, and everybody's being invited to these parties. So I think before I got to SEMA 2023, we'd already agreed that Dip Monkey Garage would be the builders of Project Bruno. And when they came out there as tourists, we also had a chat, and I love to be able to encourage and give people confidence to get out there and speak to people and build relationships. And Claire and Dan were in their element. I knew it was a dream for them to go. I knew they'd fit right in.
So when it comes to doing a bespoke, custom, one-off build like this, there's not really on-the-shelf parts you can go and buy. So this build has tested us in ways we never thought could happen. Even from the roll cage and making an engine fit, making a Ducati 996 engine fit in the back of a Fiat 500. There's no parts, there's no mounts, there's nothing you can buy. Everything has been sort of like handmade. So from things like that to getting the wheels, we had to order the wheels through 6AD. We had to get the measurements for the wheels on a car that we hadn't built yet. So there's been so many stresses along the way because all the parts we know we needed, we've either had to make, order, work with the build partners and then get everything in. But I suppose while the car's been coming together, we've been waiting for parts, we've been having to stop, and instead of just concentrating on getting the rear axle, the rear trike, rear end done, we've had to stop while we've been waiting for that, and then we start working on the front. So I suppose the most stressful part of the build and the pains we've had sort of thing is just juggling around, getting all the bespoke parts together and making this car what it is. As many of you have probably seen, SEMA builds always come with a deadline. These cars have got to be looking their best, fully completed and at the show. So we've got 3 weeks to complete this build. The wheels have been with us for a couple of days. We've just received the brakes today. So we've got them finishing aspects. We've got to make these wheels fit the car perfectly. We've got a full custom bespoke paint job to get in there as well. And one of the last things on the list to do now is finalise the gear link as well. So yeah, that's a lot of work to do in a short space of time.
the paint side of things that I've been trying to nail down and get done before it comes to actually doing the full paintwork on Bruno's exterior and interior as well. It's been really, really challenging, because it's one thing using the custom paints, which we've used for many years now, and we are blessed to be sponsored by Custom Paints as well, which is supplies for Bruno. It's the level of stencil work and artwork and airbrushing work that I've kind of really had to up my game a little bit as well, and understand the time frame that we're under, and also painting in the conditions that we're in. You've got to imagine that I'll be on one side of the unit doing the airbrushing, and then I've got Dan to the other side of the unit using the grinder and the sparks going everywhere, but that's the sort of environment that we have to work in at the minute. And I think one of the most potentially hardest parts has been doing the paintwork is probably the Ducati fuel tank and the airlift performance tank as well, with the air tank, because the vision was with Chiro that we would do those in the Ducati colours, which was the Carl Fogarty stuff that we did, which was actually the red with the baby blue, with the pearl, the white, the honeycomb stenciling, the layer upon layer of the black line work with the greys. And I'm looking over at them now because I'm having to remember the amount of sort of paint and different colours that have gone into it, and trying to layer that up and do it in a short space of time, and trying to get things dry to move on to the next stage. And then obviously in the middle of everything, then having to clear up once obviously, you know, Andy and Dave have shut their side of the shop and gone home. That's when me and Dan then set up, clean out, sort out, get everything laid up, and then get it into the clear coat as well. So it's been really hard juggling that. Normally when you're doing that sort of like stencil work and artwork, you'd kind of be doing that in a nice, clean, sort of quiet area of the unit, but it's required us to do things a lot differently to what we would normally do. So the pressure has been on a little bit. And I think trying to replicate Carl Fogarty's helmet design into the fuel tank of the Ducati, which is a completely different shape, it took me a minute or two to sit there and look at it and go, how am I going to lay this out? So that was really difficult, but enjoyable at the same time. And I think the results have paid off with it, and it does look really well.
So Dan and Claire got out there, built some relationships with people I didn't even know and meet, and I just like to be able to kind of give people the motivation and confidence as well. And I said to them, people are just going to love you guys. And Custom Paints, SK Glow, who have supplied for Project Bruno, they're going to have their product on display at SEMA with our little man here. But also, for instance, I introduced them to Mike at Hemmings, and Mike is the dearest guy that I see twice a year at SEMA, works for Hemmings, one of the biggest automotive names out there. And I just introduced these guys to Mike. Mike knows they're my friends, he's my friend, and they just gel immediately. They're at the Sosa party. Gene walks in, the most decorated hot rodder that ever had a TV show before, rolled in on his, it was just unbelievable. You got so many people at this party, and the Dip Monkeys are there rubbing shoulders with everybody, holding their own. And I knew at that moment that this was destiny for them, and for us, for Petrolheadonism, to work with Dip Monkey.
One of the favourite things about this build is the fact we've got a Ducati 996 in the back of this car. It's just something so unusual to get this Italian bike engine in this old classic Italian car, and for where it's going to SEMA. It's the biggest automotive trade show in the world, and the SEMA show is the king of the engine swaps, and so basically we're going to try and take them something that's not been done before. And the fun side of it as well, this is a small car that is a very, very powerful engine. So this thing is going to be an animal to drive, and it's going to look fantastic. We have actually been to SEMA. We went out to SEMA last year with Petrolheadonism. Chiro and the guys took a car out last year. So people have often asked us, do we know what we're in for? We've been to SEMA before. We've seen the standard, the level of what people work to. And so yeah, we've had a warm up for it, and now this is it. So the expectations of what this car's got to be, yeah, we are more on the work, and we're going to push some boundaries and make it extra special.
Like you've probably seen in the first episode we did of our documentary, the nitty-gritty of Dip Monkey Garage for me and Dan is, yes, it is a small company. It's a small business that me and Dan started off from very little, which you can see in the previous episode. So finances are always running tight for us anyway. It's just because of the circumstances of things. So funnily enough, I was saying this the other day to the team. How can you have two ends of the spectrum? How can you be building something incredible with Petrolheadonism, with Cheero, doing that to the level that we're doing at, taking that build to SEMA, one of the biggest automotive shows in the world, and yet finances are really, really strapped. And for me and Dan as well, obviously having the pressures of this and making sure that this is perfect and to a super high quality, it's also the pressures of the usual stuff like, is the rent's going to get paid and things like that, and is there going to be extra money set aside for things? And it's been difficult, sort of out of the norm, speaking to customers who have been kept popping in and saying, you know, can we have the interior done, can we have some house strip done and everything, and then saying to them, yeah, great, but we're fully booked for the next 2 months, can you come back in September? Sorry, what? We've never done that. We've always tried to squeeze customers in, you know, keep the flow of the books going and everything. So it's been really peculiar saying to somebody, yeah, we can do that, but it's going to be in 2 months' time. It's really odd. We don't work like that, and we've been really, really blessed that a lot of our customers who are ongoing customers to us are extremely loyal. A lot of them are really excited about this build for us. You know, the massive supporters of what we do anyway, that, you know, they've taken that on board and they appreciate that, you know, there is going to be a little bit of a wait. But obviously new customers that have come to us who are, you know, watching us online and stuff and have seen different bits of artwork that we've put out, they're coming in wanting to get booked in as soon as possible. And I'm like, can you come back in September when Bruno goes? That's been really difficult, but I think so far so good. We've been quite lucky that a lot of people have been willing, you know, to go on to the books later on, but it's a weird feeling because even though things are difficult at the minute, which they're always difficult for Dip Monkey, hey, we should have that in some sort of slogan for us, but we know that when Bruno goes, the books are pretty full. But there's always going to be room for more customers no matter what. We'll always make time for everyone. I mean, we normally work 7 days a week because not only is it a job for us, it is our career, but it's our passion, it's what we do, it's what we love. And we'll always appreciate somebody coming up to this door and saying, hey, can you take a look at this? We'll always have time for that no matter what.
I'm Uncle Dave. I'm Dave, but most of you more than likely will know me as Uncle Dave. I don't know why I got the name Uncle Dave. I think it was something Dan gave me. But more than likely because I'm an old fart in comparison to them. But I think I've got my uses. Can do a good bit of metal work. Certainly try anyway. Always been panel beating all my life, working with cars. Started at a very early age fiddling with cars with my dad in the entry, spannering away, doing bits and pieces, and it's been a lifelong passion. Hopefully it will be a lifelong passion for me. I can't see myself doing anything else. Because anyone that knows me just knows I'm just car related. It's as simple as that. If you cut me, there's either petrol or rust, as the wife would say. There's usually rust. Shower's all rusty. You know, so I thought, come in, do some metal work for them. What could possibly go wrong? Here we are.
Yeah, I'm Andy. I originally started as a customer for Dip Monkey, but got to know and help them out. They did some hydro dipping on my car, and we did a massive reveal, actually full paint job. You might have seen purple BMW going around, big sparkly thing, a bit like this, but purple. I've been around helping them out now, doing the background stuff, designing logos, doing the website, doing merch designs, and then got involved with Project Bruno here. So yeah, I've been helping out where I can, ordering parts, helping do stuff I never thought I would do, including some fabrication, some other designs, working out the dash clusters. Yeah, really stretching myself, to be honest.
So when it comes down to doing a build of this magnitude and where it's going, the nerves do kick in. Like I said, because we have been there, we've seen the standards as well, so we've got to be on our A game. This has got to be the best we've ever done. And when it comes down to it, when you're looking around SEMA, you know, you've Chip Foose is over there, you've got Gas Monkey over there, some of the biggest automotive names in the world are going to be there, and technically we're going to be competing in that same central hall. So yeah, the nerves are well and truly kicking in now.
The thing is, nobody else will have a classic Fiat 500 at SEMA this year, and nobody else would have ever seen a classic Fiat 500 like this one before. So we learnt a lot with the Corolla. It did have an engine swap, but it had a newer 4AGE AE86 lump and beautiful engine bay in that. Americans love an engine swap, so it was a case of let's get Bruno, but he can't go there as a classic Fiat just with some wide arches and something. He needs a bike engine. And I was toying with a Hayabusa. The chairman of the Fiat 500 Club had just built one. Thought, well, that's going to be easy, give us some blueprints, things like that. But then speaking to guys up here, I said, yeah, Hayabusa works, but Bruno's got an Italian heart and he needs to retain that Italian heart. And literally the way it works for me, I'll have these thoughts and then I'll make a phone call. And I spoke to my friend Darren, he goes, Chiro, you do realise I know Chris, who runs Ducati Preston, Ducati Manchester. He's a really, really good guy. He might be interested in this project. Drive up to Preston, have a meeting with Chris. Within half an hour, they've given us the 996 ST4S bike and engine for Bruno, as well as telling me that Carl Fogarty is on their books and part of their team. So he'll be the first person to drive Bruno. And I'm like, what the hell is happening?
So the last 3 or 4 months, we've been building this car all year, but the last 3 or 4 months of doing this build, we have been dedicated day in, day and night to get this car built. And it's not the kind of job where we just come in and we work 9 till 5 on it. Some of the bits we were painting in the last couple of days, we've been working 10, 11. Latest finish, we finished at 2 AM in the morning. This thing, we are dedicated to it. This car is going to be the best and it's got to be there. So it's not something, if it's not finished in time, we're going to make sure it's done. We're going to make sure it's there.
The anticipation of unveiling Project Bruno, I think obviously going to SEMA with Bruno and showcasing what we've all done together to create this it's like it's not quite real yet, even though we're in the middle of it. It's really exciting, it's very nerve-wracking. I must admit, I think me and Dan especially, we've had some really sleepless nights, and I think Chiro has as well, because he phones us at 10:30 at night checking in when he's finished his busy day. It is really, really nerve-wracking, and you are constantly looking at that board over there and seeing everything that's still got to be done, the things that have got to be finalised, the deliveries that are still due to come through this door to go on to Bruno. But one thing that I am really, really stoked about and really proud about is the unveiling of Bruno at Petrolheadonism at Knebworth for Knebworth Live with Chiro, is having Bruno there to unveil him, show everybody there, show the world, show the UK audience, and then watch him go into that container and off he goes to America is like going to be really emotional, but a super proud moment, because I think for me and Dan, roll back a few years, it all sort of first happened, our relationship with Chiro at Knebworth. So when we went to Knebworth, and I'm sure Chiro's probably touched base on this one, because me and Dan went to Knebworth just as punters. We weren't showing any vehicles or anything like that. We went for a trip up to Knebworth to go in and have a meet and greet with Gas Monkey with Richard, and we were waiting in the queue, and me and Dan were just chatting away like we do, and we had our Dip Monkey Garage tops on, and Dan said, I dare you to get him to sign something. So obviously, me and Dan being the way we are, I was like, fine, I'll get him to sign something. I'll get him to sign my chest then. Next minute, we're called up, and obviously I said to Richard, do us a favour, sign my chest. Little did I know that Chiro was to the side, and he witnessed that. He remembered us from that moment, and then obviously we got a phone call off him later down the line where he said to us, would you join us at the British Motor Show? Would you take Sally up there and do a live performance of the Flames that Dan does with Sally? And then the relationship grew from there, but it's kind of like it has all come full circle with the universe. It started very briefly at Knebworth all them years ago. It's come full circle, and then one of the biggest opportunities of our career, and obviously a massive poignant point with our friendship with Chiro as well, having Bruno and unveiling him at Knebworth. I think there's something really special about that, and I think it's a really good omen for Bruno.
Little Bruno, as he's christened, we started as a little Fiat 500. The idea for me was because I've always been, throughout all my working life when I was employed by people, and I learnt from some of the best of how to restore classic cars. So it's been a bit of a challenge in a way, because where I'd normally do it and try and get everything nicely in line, all the spot welds and everything, and try and get my welding as nice as possible. With this, it's a bit more, you get it like that, but then it needs altering. So you've got to think about it in a bit of a different way, of how you can try and alter something, how you can make something work, how does it fit. And I found it a challenge in a good way, to think, right, well, not being nasty to them, they couldn't do the metalwork side. So I thought, how do I try and make it, improve it, make it easier for them to paint so they've not got as much to do. As anyone that does these things will know, there's a lot to do. But it's been a good challenge. I've surprised myself with how I've enjoyed it. The little car's thrown up so many challenges, even just from the beautiful front, which you can see, the front spoiler, nuts to make. You know, we got a body kit which was just flat, and they wanted it to stand off, because as we were going along, all the different ideas kept playing out. Oh, we can stand it off from the front there, we can put spotlights on it. And it was just nuts. And then think, can you do this? Can you do this? And I thought, I don't know, let's find out. And then hopefully, yeah, we can.
Some might call me a project manager. That side suits my normal job, I suppose, outside of this. But yeah, I started off doing a lot of the sort of paperwork side, email side, but I have been surprised actually how much sort of hands-on stuff I've been doing and learning loads from the guys. Yeah, learning loads from Dave, Dan, and Claire on anything from polishing paintwork to fabrication with Dave. It's been really, really cool learning.
The first time I came up here, I was like, this is the right place for Bruno. Now, it's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of things going on, but they've taken everything in my imagination and made it come true. And whether it's photos or videos that I receive on WhatsApp or I see on Instagram, each time my stomach jumps a beat and I get butterflies, because this is becoming one of the most outstanding cars ever. I've already got 2025 projects in my mind, and I know what I want to build for that, and that is absolutely wild. And that's to go to SEMA, Japan, Auto Salon and Alt Race. But Bruno is just on another level, and the plan is make as much noise as possible. Small car, big personality, and everything. Dan and Claire, Harry, Tony, Uncle Dave, Andy, other people they've got involved locally, all the brands that have worked with us. And I don't want to start the list because I know I'll forget, but Elite Carbon Fibre Composites, Zian, absolutely amazing. That is hypercar grade carbon fibre with a McLaren 600 LT roof scoop and bonnet scoop. Americans love a bonnet scoop, but our bonnet scoop isn't for a supercharger because the engine's in the back. This is so we can actually put fuel in the Ducati tank, which is up front and will be signed again by Carl Fogarty. We've got the roll cage, the rear wing holder by SW Motorsports. We've got 6AD Forge have literally taken my design, and if we take it right back, this car's going on the EBC brake stand. The whole point of it being on EBC brake stand is to show off their work and their calipers. So the wheel design has been done as a one spoke with two elliptical side areas which show off the caliper perfectly. So again, it's all thought through, and when I have those thoughts and those ideas and I see them coming to light, it absolutely blows me away. And ultimately, Bruno will stay in America and be sold. I haven't told Dan and Claire this, and just don't mention it to them, but I would love to see this car in the Peterson Museum. And when I have that thought and I think how impossible it could be, actually with the people I know, we could make it happen. So who knows? Bruno will stay in America. Ultimately, he needs to be sold to be able to put money back in the coffers for both Dip Monkey and myself. But for somebody somewhere, he's going to be loud with those twin Terminiones hanging out of the back. He's going to be proud, he's going to be bad, and he's going to look good doing it.
No, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, to be fair. The wife laughed actually when she said, "You're going where?" Because the little car came into my unit first, and I did a load of what I'll call standard stuff for me of restoring it. And it come to a point where it's got to come back because obviously it's Dip Monkey's project. So I thought, right, okay, I've got to work with them. I thought, how's that going to work out? And I can't lie, sadly, it's not a trait of mine. Stop laughing, everyone that knows me. That I can't lie, I've thoroughly enjoyed it because we've just taken the piss out of one another constantly on a daily basis. It's been brilliant. Their enthusiasm's rubbed off. Hopefully mine has. I've tried to show them things, they've not listened. You know, which comes across, as you can see, it just looks shocking. So, yeah, the banter's brilliant. The banter's, I'll miss that, something not right. I work with a good bunch of people, you know, throughout, but I don't know, they're a bit different to work with. They're a lot of fun. It's been a fun project. It's a shame it's coming to an end, but on the other hand, it's not, because then I can catch up on sleep. So, you know, but they've been good to work with, they have.
The balance of doing this, obviously running a small business, and we're only a small setup, we don't have a massive shop. This isn't like the kind of job that's been going on in the corner sort of thing. This has been going on central in the main floor of Dip Monkey. So trying to balance with the customer jobs, and like I said, we've been working on this day and night for the last couple of months, so we've had to sort of really postpone a lot of bookings and put them off until the build's been finished, which has been great because we've got a lot of customers who've been happy to wait, and we've managed to move them back. So I know we've got the pressure on here now, but once this is finished, we know we've got a lot of work we've got to catch up on as well. So
I think we've touched base with a lot of people, and we've mentioned a lot of names, and there are so many more people behind the scenes as well that support us, support Chiro, support everything that we do. And as well, just the followers as well, that we always thank our followers, because without people liking, sharing and all of the above with what goes online, you know, all of us wouldn't be doing as much as we are doing and being as successful as we are. But I think I just want to say a generalised thank you to everybody who's taken part, whether it's been somebody who has jumped on board and done scans or brackets, or even just helping us lift Bruno onto axle stand, you know, coming in, making a brew, or people just generally sharing everything that we're doing with Bruno. I think I have to thank you 100 times over, because that love and support is what drives us. And I think as well, I'd like to just say a special thank you to our team as well. For example, there is just me and Dan here at the Dip Monkey Garage, but you know, Andy coming on board like he always has done in the background, even doing things like running our website and stuff like that. You know, all those things that me and Dan are complete aliens to. You know, Andy's really stood up to the mark. You know, we've had Uncle Dave who just came in like an absolute whirlwind, and he was like, "Don't panic, I've got this, we are going to get this metal work done." All of those guys just coming in and just standing by our side and saying, "Do you know what, no matter what, against all odds, even if there is royal fuck ups, we're going to get through." So thank you very much to everybody who's taken part.
With this, we always used to like to go to shows anyway, most of them classic, but it's nice to see all the different aspects. And we've not been to many this year because it's swallowed so much time. So it'll be nice to go down and see something that we've worked on, to think, that looks nice, and everyone else looking at it. Quite how it'll go down, I think it'll go down a storm, because it's such a unique little car. The fact that it's got a Ducati engine in a Fiat 500. It shouldn't really work, but it does. Strangely, it does. And the amount of trick detail that everyone's put into it, it's going to look the part. And hopefully the weather's kind to us, Knebworth. You know, everyone come down, enjoy it, have a good day, chat to everyone. I'm not chatting to anyone, I'll be too showbiz for that. So, you know, and just go from there.
So, from the get-go with Bruno, I was here when we received Bruno, and I started throwing out some designs. and I did a load of the concepts, which I went back and forth with the guys and with Chiro, which came up with basically the original renders for this car, which we've based a lot of it off. So yeah, so that was fun, kind of sharing ideas and thoughts with that one. And yeah, the design process has been great, and then making that a reality is something that's been a struggle, but great fun to be part of as well.
Even EBC have invested so much more into their stand. They're in Central Hall. We've got a big corner plot with Bruno. He's going to have a podium. He's going to have the Carl Fogarty helmet, which is where the inspiration for the petrol tank and air ride tank have come from, on display over side. We're going to have a big screen showing the build process and some of our YouTube videos for about half an hour on a loop. We're going to have a simulator from our sponsors, Wheel Stand Racing, which has got the seat behind me as the simulator seat married up to Bruno, behind Bruno. So you'll be able to race a little Fiat 500 on a track and have a leaderboard at SEMA. We know what people put into the builds in America, and there's some builds that are $1 million plus, and there's a lot of money, and we're not there to compete against Ring Brothers or any of the other big builders. We're not there to work against anybody or try and beat anybody. We just want to say, we're Dip Monkey Garage, we're Petrolheadonism, we are here. And when we take that veil off Bruno, with all our friends out there in the automotive community, from YouTubers, creators to celebrities, they'll all be there, and that moment will be emotional.
I think the Americans, it'll intrigue them. They'll like it, to be fair, because they love anything that's off the wall and a bit wacky. They're always forever putting V8s in things, but for someone to come over with such a little car and chew on a bike engine in, Ducatis are a big deal for the Americans as well. They love a Ducati, they're into the bikes. But the fact that it's in this little thing, which isn't over there, it's more likely there was like a shoe or something for them and think, oh, I could wear that. I think, you know, and they've tried to do it in a style, the paint, you know, which fits right into the custom side of it. So yeah, I think they'll like it. Hope they'll like it. It'll be fun to go over and talk to them to see what they think of it. You know, whether it's a, wow, what's that, or what's that? But, you know, we've tried our best with it, we'll see. See if you like it.
I am, so I'm going to be going to Knebworth. I'll be with the guys for the public reveal of Bruno. Really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to gauge the reaction of people seeing it in person, because it really is it's going to be a wild vehicle. Like, there's so much to see. I've always said since the start, there's just, you walk around and there's like different things you spot, from anything from the bike gas tank in the front to the air ride system to the custom wing to the engine in it to the interior. It's so custom. There's not one piece of it has been left stock. It's just going to be a feast for the eyes. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to see the response.
inside the parts. You guys put that Dip Monkey touch on it, all the labour, all the hard graft. We've come up with our notion is blood, sweat and Tetleys. Why did I forget it? Blood, sweat and Tetleys, because these guys are drinking tea, and I didn't realise tea had sometimes more caffeine than coffee. They drink tea.
Yeah, for sure.
So blood, sweat and Tetleys has gone into Bruno. So much I could say about Bruno. And the funny thing was, I named it Project Bruno, and literally, they hadn't told anybody this. They just got a dog and named him Bruno. And it's just, everything that's happened with this build has happened for a reason, and now we're taking him to SEMA. From what you know, Freddie, what do you think?
So I see that this is, I see some sort of vague wheel look on the back and then a giant wing. I can't make anything out, so this is going to look pretty extreme.
Wicked. Is it aired out, Dan? So it's aired out. The idea is, Project Bruno is a VW buyer buggy, maybe. It's a super bike. It's a resto mod. It's a race car.
It slices, it dices.
And he's just batshit bonkers.
Okay.
Darren, are you ready? We'll be in 10 seconds. Let's unpeg him.
Contenders, are you ready?
And everybody stood in front of the screen there have had their hands on Bruno. That's the Dip Monkey Garage team. Tony couldn't be with us today. Are you ready, ladies and gents? 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Bruno!
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, dude. That is so dope. Wow.
That is remarkable.
You got the roof scoop like my McLaren.
It's a McLaren roof scoop by the guy Zian from Elite Composite Carbon Fibre, who builds the carbon fibre for McLaren P1s, AMG Project 1s. That is hypercar level carbon fibre.
Wow.
The roof scoop is also on the side. Oh, we want to hear the song. Everybody want to hear the song?
Yeah.
Hey, Freddie, you know SEMA, right? How do you think that's going to happen every hour on the hour in Central Hall?
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it can hear your enthusiasm. Do you want to hear it start?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
So Victor wants to do a sound off with the R-Bath. He just gave up.
That sounds mean, man.
Oh, it's a flame.
Yeah.
Can you do a wheelie in this?
One thing, ladies and gentlemen, right? I know Chiro gives the amazing Dip Monkey and the Wizard Harry. He's a Wizard Harry, right? These amazing guys.
Uncle Dave, Andy, Claire, Dan, Tony, and some of the other guys back there. Even Rick, the camera guy. Look how beautiful he is with a top knot.
Muscular being. But this is all possible because of these guys, yeah? But without Chiro's relentless and mental hard work and vision, this wouldn't be what it is. From the colour, to the style, to the original pick, to the wheels, to the design, to the sponsors you found, it wouldn't be anything, dude. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you please put your hands together for Dip Monkey, Chiro and the amazing team. Absolutely nothing less than remarkable, right?
Well, so we've just revealed Project Bruno to the whole of the UK car community. So I'm not going to lie, 10 minutes leading up to it, I was feeling pretty nervous. But looking on people's faces, the phone cameras were up, the photographers were there, everyone was going mad on it. And overall, I think the reaction was really, really good. The feedback's been great. The people have been walking up to us going, wow, I love Bruno, he's amazing. And yeah, so it's been a big pressure because obviously we're taking it to SEMA as well. It's going to go to the biggest automotive trade show in the world. So I suppose this is like testing the water here at Knebworth at Petrolheadonism Live. And so I was still just as nervous, I think. But yeah, the feedback's been amazing. And the reveal, it couldn't have gone any better. So yeah, I'm really happy with that.
The reveal was pretty unusual and pretty crazy. It was a strange feeling to to watch a car that you've built and the team have built together, and that shroud come off and the sun glistening on it, it was phenomenal. It was really strange as well to see our creation in a different environment outside of the Dip Monkey garage unit. So it was an absolute pleasure and enjoyed every moment of it, and looking forward to SEMA Unveil.
I think the real reveal went really well. It was really well received. It's great to see it out in the public. Even better to see Chip Foose drawing the thing, which brought a tear to the eye. To be honest, that was quite awesome. But yeah, it's nice to see it out in the sun. It's a shame that he's going to be packed away soon and won't see him till Vegas in November. But yeah, loving it. Great day.
If anyone drew Bruno, you'd be over the moon that someone would take the time to do that. But we're talking about Chip Foose. I mean, come on, what an absolute legend that man is. And to have him spend the time to sit there and draw Bruno, it's just what an honour. Honestly, the feeling I got, I'm not gonna lie, I did cry a little bit. I got a bit overwhelmed, and it was just incredible, absolutely amazing. Going towards SEMA now, I think the excitement's starting to kick in now, which is a really strange thing to say because people would presume that you'd be excited the whole way along. But I think because building such a one-off creation like this, it's such a stressful, mind-blowing experience for a long period of time. And we actually built this in 9 months, start to finish. To have that level of pressure looming over you, you kind of don't have the extra energy to be sort of in awe and excited. But now we've got to this side of it, and Bruno leaves on Thursday. That's the excitement starting now. It's starting to really set in that we're actually going to have our build in SEMA. Are you for real? This is crazy. It's massive for Dip Monkey Garage. It's massive for the rest of the team that are involved, and it's just, yeah, those butterflies are starting now.
So with seeing the general public's reaction of our project, Bruno, must admit it is quite a good feeling. The feedback was amazing all round. So this really was the warm-up for SEMA, and we are ready now. And we're going to take this car to America, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the SEMA show 2024, and we're going to show the world what Dip Monkey's all about.